Have you ever seen a U-Haul behind a hearse? Anybody? All right, you've all heard about the rich, grumpy old man who said to his family, "You're not getting anything. I want you to bury my money with me." And so they did. They wrote him a check and put it in the casket. We all should have squirmed a little bit with regard to this wonderful gospel and parable that really challenges us and invokes us to look at what is priority in our lives. What is it that we really spend our time on and ourselves on? God wants us to focus on the things that are of God and not the things of earth. It doesn't mean we can't appreciate these good things. God gives us wonderful stuff in the earth. But do we make it the end-all and be-all of our lives? Are we so consumer-like that we got to consume everything that we have? It's really important, I think, that as Christians and Catholics that we take time to step back and see what it is that we're putting our priorities in throughout this life, because we want to be at peace when God calls knocking at our door, saying, "Hey, your life is being demanded of you." And every one of us is going to find that day. And we want to be at peace, but we need to be at peace and can be at peace only through being rich in the things of God. We might have money, we might have possessions, but when you really think about it, this will not last. It will not last. It'll be gone. Think of 100 years ago. Our own families, even those sentimental things that we keep, even those things that have only meaning to us, will it have meaning to somebody in your family three generations or even one generation later? No, not at all. Not at all. How much importance are we putting on these things? Right? So this is something we need to focus on. What is the things of God, of course, is that we focus on doing God's will, having that relationship with God, and also enhancing our relationship with each other. Spending time, creating memories. Instead of creating things or focusing on things, we like to create memories. We want to be able to focus on the relationship with God and with each other. And in order for us to do that, we need to prioritize. Again, we may be rich in all these earthly things, but are we rich in compassion, justice, love, forgiveness, mercy, humble service of each other and of God? Are we rich in the ways of God? These are just to name a few of those things. A few, just a few. But what is it? Again, we can enjoy it. We can enjoy the things, but they can't be the end-all and be-all. As I mentioned earlier, too, in my homily, we all face the reality of God knocking at the door of our hearts. God knocking at the door and saying, "Hey, come to me. It's time." And as a priest for 33 years, I've experienced the death of many people. And I want to share two things with you. When I was 24, I was in the seminary. And part of the seminary program was to visit the hospitals, and it was here at St. Joseph's Hospital in London, where I was required to go and visit patients. And a ministry of presence. At 24, I didn't know much. I still don't know much. But at 24, well, anyways, I remember specifically, and I've never forgotten this young man. He is 20 years old. I don't remember his name. I can picture him laying in the bed. He was diagnosed with leukemia. He wasn't a member of any parish community, any faith community, and he was so angry. Angry at God, if he really believed in that, and angry at the world. I don't stand in judgment. He was 20 years old. I mean, I can only imagine what he was going through. And the thing is, he was so focused on what he was not going to experience in this world once he was dead. And unfortunately, he was not at peace. And he died in that state. And I pray for him. Every time I think of him, I prayed for him this morning as I was thinking about this homily and last night and throughout the week. I pray for him because he was so focused on the world, as all of us would at that age, right? Come on, let's think about that for a second, right? But it is also possible. It is also possible to die in peace. I'm going to give you another example. A 15-year-old boy died of leukemia as well. But in his situation, he was very much at peace because it was his mission. It was his mission to let people know who God was in his life. And he did so in a very particular way by creating this incredible network on the web of the Eucharist. What the Eucharist is, who the Eucharist is. And he had this incredible devotion to Mary. And when the time came, he was extremely at peace because he focused on the things of God and not so much on the things of this world. And his name, Carlo Acutis. And he will be canonized. He will become an official saint of our church on September 7th. That's why we're having a Carlo Acutis family event here, directed by Father Matthew after the 2 o'clock Mass on September 7th, to recognize this young man's life, which was lived to the fullest, even though he was only 15. That's the difference between focusing on those things that are of God and focusing on those things that are of the world. What we have will not last. My first car, I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. I don't know where it's at. It's probably in the junk. It's 40 years old now. It's probably not even junk. Those games, what's your favorite game? What's your favorite item that you own right now? Your books? So the books will probably be gone in about 20 years because they won't be mattering to you anymore because other things are going to happen. What's your favorite game? Soccer, right? Yeah, but the thing is, as Bishop Barron says, one day you're not going to be able to play soccer because you're going to be old like me. So when we make it the end all and be all of who we are, right? It doesn't work like that, right? Mike, you're like one day younger than God, right? You know this. You know what's the focus, right? You know at this point in your life, as does your lovely wife, Mary Catherine, knows this, and we learn this as we get older, but we need to pray for each other, and we need to understand that. I just lost my notes. Where did it go? Oh, heck. It got erased somehow. I wanted to quote Bishop Barron for us, but somehow or another it is gone. Okay, so anyways, Bishop Barron talks about this exact thing, and he says to us, I'm going to paraphrase it. He talks about, the things of this world are really wonderful, but eventually they'll be entering into non-being. They won't exist. That beautiful sunset that I saw last night, he goes on to say, as magnificent as the view was, has come and gone and will never be again. Never. And he also goes on to say that young person, that young, beautiful person who's vibrant and has everything going for them, he too or she too will grow old, get sick, break down, and die. And he goes on to say, this is not to cause depression, for us to be depressed. It should cause us to open our eyes to the preciousness of life and who God is and how God is, and to focus on that, because we never know when God will come knocking at our door. My prayer for all of you is that when this happens, that you will be at peace, that you'll find solace in the arms of your family and friends, but most importantly, in the arms of God.